Hello, everyone. My name is Stanley St. Rose, and today we're going to be talking about the short story What We Talk About When We Talk About Love, written by Raymond Carver. Now, before I go into summary analysis of this work, please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment so that the channel can continue to grow. This short story is very interesting, very fascinating. Lots of things are happening within this short story. We get this young couple by the name of Nick and Laura, and this other couple by the name of Mel and Terry. And they're drinking. They're drinking a lot, and they're talking about love as the sun goes down. And basically, they all have different opinions about love. Mel and Terry, they're more experienced. Mel has an ex-wife. He has two kids with her. Terry, she has an ex-man by the name of Ed that killed himself because Terry and him broke up, and he threatened Mel and Terry with a gun at some point. And Ed was a violent boyfriend, hitting Terry, and it got physical. And Laura, Nick and Laura, Nick is our narrator, and Nick and Laura, they're also a couple, and they're going through the steps and ideals of being a couple. This short story is very fascinating. What we talk about when we talk about love, by Raymond Carver. There's a lot to take in here. There's a lot to understand here. There's a lot to figure out here. Um, really, it's really hard to say how this work, what it really comes to, because love is something that is not tangible. It's one of these emotions that you are in love when you know that you're in love. My definition of love as an individual, as a human being, is when, in the romantic sense, is when you find someone uh, that you cannot live without. Someone that is constantly in your mind. You analyze what they say, what they do, how they talk, how they breathe, how they wear their hair, how they wear their clothes, how they, you pick on every mannerism, every single thing that they do. Like when you're deeply in love with somebody, every single little quirk of that person, you are meticulously, you analyze it, and sometimes you can just, at any point in time, just go off the handlebars, because something happens, and you blow your top because something happens, there's an argument, and the person didn't pick up your call, you're mad, and you're like, is there something happening? Is the person with somebody else? And so love is, sometimes it's maddening. Sometimes people say that you're madly in love, and honestly, yeah, sometimes people are madly in love. And this is what these four people are discussing here with alcohol. Is like, Terry, she's been with Ed, who died for loving her too intensely, and now she's with Mel, who we can also assume they're a couple. They're also in love, but they've also been in love with other people. Mel, he has two kids with his ex-wife, so he was married at some point. He was so in love that he got married, and he had two children. I mean, you can't take that back. And once you fall in love with somebody, like, you don't just forget it. If you fall in love with somebody, you get married, you have kids, and then you get divorced. Yes, the relationship didn't work out, but there were good parts. I mean, the falling in love part was good. The getting married part was good, and I'm sure the first couple of months of the marriage was good, or maybe the first couple of years. But at some point, it got sour for Mel and Terry. Maybe at some point, her and Ed were in love because they were a couple. They were going out. They were enjoying the brighter sides of being in love and being with somebody. Um, and Laura and Nick, at some point, they are in love. They are a couple. Nick leans over and kisses Laura's hand within this work. So they have their own definitions of love. And love is so complex, man. I mean, there's different types of love. There's romantic love, the love between a man and a woman, that the classic love, the Romeo and Juliet, the Jack and Rose from Titanic, right? The pretty woman type of love. All our songs and art and novels and your Jane Eyres, your even War and Peace. There's a love story in War and Peace. I mean, all the great novels have all types of love stories and things like that. And the Bible talks about love. Religious texts talk about love. Artists talks about love. Songs talk about love. I mean, if you're a human being and you live on this earth and you never experienced being in love with somebody, that's you miss out. You miss out on one of the greatest things to. I mean, I think love is the greatest thing to experience as a human being. It's love. You can't control love. You can't explain love. You can't understand it. Sometimes it's just a pounding in your chest. Sometimes it's an emotion. Sometimes it's a feeling. Sometimes you're just insane. And these sometimes there's no words to describe love. Sometimes love is just is, and you find yourself in love, and somebody just drives you crazy, just by being around them. And this is what these two couples are talking about. Amel talks about this old couple that got hit by a car, and they were in love, and how the old man, this old couple, they were in love, and the husband couldn't see his wife when they're in the hospital, and this drove the old man crazy because he couldn't see his wife because they had years of being in love. And Terry talks about her love with Ed, and how when Ed killed himself and he was in the hospital for 3 days, she was by his bedside even though he was abusive and beating her. And most people would say, if you're in an abusive relationship and it's violent, you should just run away and never come back. But um, some women don't feel like that. Some women, I mean, domestic violence is a thing. It happens all over the world. But some women, even though that the relationship gets violent sometimes and it comes to blows, after everything cools down, they find themselves right back into the arms of the man that beat them. I mean, it's crazy, it's appalling, but it happens. It's something that we can't truly understand, but it happens. Love is like a drug. Sometimes loving someone can literally hurt. Because let's say you love someone and you can't be with them, and just the very fact that you can't be with them, it's painful. Love can hurt. Love can be painful. Again, there's different types of love. You can love a significant other. There's the mother's love for the child. Mothers love their babies. There's family love. There's parent love. There's love for your best friend. Sometimes people just throw the word love around. I love this sandwich. I mean, this Subway sandwich is banging. I just love the taste of this sandwich. I know that makes no sense, but some people love their food or love their house or love their car. It's like there's so many different types of love. There's love of money. There's love of life. There's just all types of love out there. And honestly, what I can tell you is that there really isn't one definition for love. Love is this thing that drives us, picks us up. Sometimes it governs our lives. And Nick and Laura, they have their own definitions. Ed had his own definition. The old couple that Mel talks about within the story had their own definition. Mel has his own definition, and there's different types of variations of love. There's different types of ways to love, and love is extremely complex. That's why the short story just ends in silent and them drunk, because love is intoxication. I do believe that love and intoxication are in the same thing. Because when you're truly in love, you lose your senses. You are intoxicated. You are a mess. Sometimes you want to cry. Sometimes you want to throw a fit. Sometimes you lose your mind like Ed, and you become obsessive, and you just want the person. And if you can't have the person, no one can. There's obsession types of love. There's crazy love. There's murderous love. I mean, people have killed for, men have killed for the women that they love, and women have killed for the men that they love. So there's a murderous love. So, whew. So the way that the short story ends in silence just says a lot because, well, that is love. Love can end in silence sometimes. So we got to be very careful about it. We got to understand it carefully. In terms of deeper meaning and analysis here, the short story is, what do we talk about when we talk about love? I mean, what is love? What can we truly say about it? I mean, it is this thing that exists. It is beautiful, but it also is scary. It is that one emotion that we can lose ourselves in, and it is that one emotion that can make you feel like a superhero. When you find someone that you can fall in love with, you feel like you can conquer the world for that person. And when that person breaks your heart, you feel like you're losing ground. Um, so there is no, just like the title, the title just leave it in the air. There really isn't a clear definition of what we talk about when we talk about love. It is complex. It is like a living thing. Well, love is a living thing, I guess you can say. It's a living thing that has no end. It is an infinite thing that has no end, and we can talk about it forever and ever. And for all of human existence, people have been talking about love, music, songs, poems. We've all been talking about love, and we still haven't found one definition for it. So I guess all I can say, keep loving, keep seeking. After all, the greatest commandment in the Bible is to love God and to love your neighbor. So, you know, what can you say? Well, that's my summary analysis of this work. Please remember to leave a like, subscribe, and or comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.